Nas is one of the best rappers of all time. Not maybe, not possibly. Nas is one of the best rappers of all time. His lyricism, his storytelling, his rapping, everything is just a perfect representation of what someone in his field should be. And he is one of the best MCs to ever grab a mic. Not to mention, he dropped his first album in 1994, and 30 years later, he is still dropping top-tier hip-hop projects, which is rare for any artist of any genre to do. So Nas is certainly special. And today, I wanted to deep dive into Nas's discography and rank and grade his albums from worst to best. Nas has released 17 studio albums, 2 collaborative albums, and 2 compilation albums. So we have 21 albums here today to grade and rank. So get your popcorn ready, get your snacks ready, and let's get into it. These are the 21 albums in Nas's discography ranked from worst to best. Coming in last at number 21 is going to be his 4th album, Nostradamus, released in 1999. It's 1 hour and 2 minutes, and this is like universally considered to be his worst album, and I think so too. I mean, looking at this Jedi-ass album cover, you can just kind of expect it not to be good. Some of his worst ideas and songs are on this, like Big Girl, and yeah, I don't know what Nas was thinking here. This album isn't like pull your hair out bad, it's more like, oh that's odd kind of bad. I think the songs Nostradamus and You Owe Me are actually decent tracks, but overall, yeah, this is the worst of Nas here. I rate Nostradamus a 4 out of 10 and grade it an F. Coming in at number 20 is going to be his 7th album and double album, Street's Disciple, released in 2004. It's 25 tracks and 1 hour and 27 minutes, and even though this isn't last, this is the Nas album I would definitely revisit the least because this is such a long and bloated album. Obviously, double albums have the case of having too many unnecessary songs, and this is an album that perfectly represents that, I think. The first disc isn't half bad, and I take out liking some songs like Nazareth Savage and These Are Our Heroes, but disc 2 is definitely a mess. I don't think there's any songs on disc 2 I like, and some of the worst Nas songs are on it, like Virgo, which that beat is rough. Maybe he listened to Hoe Cakes by MF Doom and thought he could do something like that, but no. This is rough. Then a song like Remember the Times is Nas being just unnecessarily vulgar and just disgusting, like talking about a girl that wanted to eat his excrement. Like, Nas, what are we doing, bro? Making of a Perfect Bitch is bad too. Yeah, disc 2 is like Nostradamus level basically, and even though disc 1 isn't terrible, disc 2 and the amount of bad tracks on it makes Street's Disciple one of Nas's worst albums. I rate Street's Disciple a 5 out of 10 and grade it an F. Coming in at number 19 is going to be his compilation album, The Lost Tapes 2, released in 2019. It's 16 tracks and 59 minutes, and as some people on Album of the Year have said, this album should have just probably stayed lost, and yeah, that's really accurate. This is a sequel to the first Lost Tapes compilation album made in 2002, which you'll see later on the list, but yeah, this is much worse, and I honestly don't come out of this liking a single song. I don't think any song is bad per se, but every song is just there and nothing stands out. I think the last song, A Beautiful Life, comes the closest to being a song I like, but yeah, you could go through Nas's entire discography and skip this album completely and you wouldn't be missing anything. Just an extremely mediocre project. I rate The Lost Tapes 2 a 5 out of 10 and grade it an F. Coming in at number 18 is going to be his 9th album, Untitled, released in 2008. It's 15 tracks and 54 minutes, and this album has pretty much the exact same issue as The Lost Tapes 2 in the fact that it's just really mediocre. I don't think there's a single song on this I like I can't point to this, oh, this is a good song. I can't do that. Some of these come close, but yeah, really bland and really okay average from Nas. I don't think this album is worth checking out. I rate Untitled a 5 out of 10 and grade it an F. Coming in at number 17 is going to be his collaborative album with Damian Marley, Distant Relatives, released in 2010. It's 13 tracks in 1 hour 2 minutes, and this is certainly an interesting album. Damian Marley is the son of Bob Marley, and I don't need to explain who Bob Marley is. I mean, reggae legend that everyone knows. But making a rap album with Bob Marley's son, it's a weird idea, and for the most part, it played out how you'd expect. Personally, I'm not big on the reggae genre in general. I think it's repetitive and can be really hard to listen to at times and is literally just meant for dudes stoned out of their mind. And there's a lot of moments on this album that are like that. However, I do think the intro track is good and a few other decent tracks like Land of Promise, but overall, not an album worth checking out, honestly. I rate Distant Relatives a 6 out of 10 and graded a D-. Coming in at number 16 is going to be his 11th album, Nazir, released in 2018. It's 7 tracks and 26 minutes, so it's very short. And honestly, the only track I think worth listening to out of this is Adam and Eve, which is like a top 15 Nas song for me. Incredible, incredible song. But this album is just decent. Kanye's on production, and the production doesn't really blow me away on this. It's a decent album, but like I said, honestly, just take Adam and Eve from this album and leave the rest alone. I rate Nasir a 6 out of 10 and grade it a D. Coming in at number 15 is going to be his 10th album, Life is Good, released in 2012. It's 14 tracks and 58 minutes, and some people might be surprised to see this low, but I'm not that big on this album. I think Nas tried making a statement after being on kind of a career low with his last few albums, but I don't think this album was that statement. If you look at the track list, the only songs that I can really say I personally get enjoyment out of are The Dawn and Cherry Wine with Amy Winehouse. The rest are just kind of bland to me. I know people rate this album, but I'm not crazy about it. I rate Life is Good a 6 out of 10 and grade it a D. Coming in at number 14 is going to be his 16th album, Magic 2, released in 2023. This album is 11 tracks and 31 minutes, so it's quite short, and I think this is probably the least interesting album in the Magic series he's done with Hit Boy as the producer. I don't think this album is necessarily bad, it's just a little underwhelming. I think Pistols on Your Album Cover is a great song, and I also like the song Motion. I'm not too big on the One Mic, One Gun track with 21 Savage, but it's alright. Overall, a decent album. I rate Magic 2 a 6 out of 10 and graded a D+. And before I get into the next album, I will say these next 6 placements are like all on the same level, so it was tough for me to rank them. So I just want to note, you could probably switch all these placements around if you want, and I don't have an issue with that. So anyways, back to the video. Coming in at number 13 is going to be his latest album and collaborative album with DJ Premier, Light Years, released in 2025. And I think this is a solid project for a rapper in their 50s who's been doing it as long as Nas has. Get Ready, Madman, Sons, It's Time, Nasty Esco, Nazir, and a few other tracks are songs I genuinely like. And even though there's some moments like New York State of Mind Part 3 where it just seems like Nas and Premier are just trying to relive the good old days, I overall think this is a solid project worth checking out with a handful of good songs. I rate Light Years a 7 out of 10 and grade it a C. Coming in at number 12 is going to be his 17th album, Magic 3, released in 2023. It's 15 tracks and 45 minutes, and I think this is a good album. I love this feeling. Based on True Events Part 1 and 2, as well as Jodeci Member and Speechless Part 2 are all good songs that I enjoy, and Nas did good here. I rate Magic 3 a 7 out of 10 and graded a C. Coming in at number 11 is going to be his 12th album, King's Disease, released in 2020. This album is 13 tracks and 38 minutes, and the first album that Nas did with Hit Boy as the producer. And while this definitely is the worst in the King's Disease series, I still think this is a good project. The intro, King's Disease, is great. I also like Ultra Black and 27 Summers. The album ends good too with 10 points in The Cure. Good album by Nas and Hit Boy. I rate King's Disease a 7 out of 10 and graded a C. We are in top 10 territory now, and coming in at number 10 is going to be his 8th album, Hip Hop Is Dead, released in 2006. This album is 16 tracks in 1 hour, and there's a handful of really good tracks to take out of this record. Still Dreaming with Kanye West, a lot of people already know, which is obviously awesome, but the title track Hip Hop Is Dead with will.i.am is also great, and Black Republican with Jay-Z is also good. And I also think some deep cuts like Not Going Back with Khalees is great, and Play on Playa with Snoop Dogg. There's some weird moments like his voice on Who Killed It, but this is a good album. I rate Hip Hop Is Dead a 7 out of 10 and graded a C. Coming in at number 9 is going to be his 3rd album, I Am, released in 1999. This album is 16 tracks in 1 hour and 4 minutes, and a lot of people might rank this lower, but not me, man. I think this is a good album. I think because this wasn't on par with his first 2 albums, people gave it more slack than it deserves. But guys, look at the track list. First off, Nas is like a top 3 Nas song. Nas is like is phenomenal. New York State of Mind Part 2, obviously nothing will beat the first New York State of Mind, but this is a great track. Hate Me Now with Thou Who Shall Not Be Named is great. And I think Ghetto Prisoners is a nice deep cut. And hot take, I like Dr. Knockboot. Sure, it might be corny, but that funky beat, bro, it's a good song to me. Yes, there's some weird moments like KISSING, and overall definitely not up to par with his first 2 records he released, but this is a good album to me. I rate I Am a 7 out of 10 and graded a C. Coming in at number 8 is going to be his 6th album, God's Son, released in 2002. It's 14 tracks and 56 minutes, and it's a solid album. Get Down, Made You Look, Book of Rhymes, and Heaven are all good tracks, and I think Dance is a phenomenal song that is a tribute to his mother that passed away. I will say, I think I Can is corny and doesn't work. Like, I think the beat works and Nas's rapping is good, But the kids in this song, it just sounds so silly to me. I don't like I Can, but this is certainly a good album. I rate God's Son a 7 out of 10 and grade it a C. We are 14 albums down, guys, and 7 to go, and I will say every album from here on out I consider to be classic and great and worth checking out. Coming in at number 7 is going to be his 14th album, Magic, released in 2021. This album is 9 tracks and 29 minutes, and this is definitely the best album in the Magic trilogy for me. The majority of the songs on here are bangers like Meet Joe Black, Ugly, 4016 Building, Hollywood Gangsta, Woo for the Children. Yeah, this is just a nice short little album that's fire and worth checking out. I rate Magic an 8 out of 10 and grade it a B. Coming in at number 6 is going to be his compilation album, The Lost Tapes, released in 2002. This album is 12 tracks and 42 minutes and not talked about enough. Do-Rags and Purple are some of Nas's best songs, and songs like My Way and No Ideas Original are just fire. Majority of the tracks on here are just sick, and if you're a Nas fan, this is a must listen. I rate The Lost Tapes an 8 out of 10 and grade it a B. In 5th place is going to be his 13th album, King's Disease 2, released in 2021. It's 15 tracks and 51 minutes, and I think this is when we really started to see the chemistry between Nas and Hit Boy show, because there are so many good tracks on this album. Death Row East, EPMD2, Rare, Store Run, Moments, Nobody. So many fire songs on this. The beats go crazy and Nas just sounds super hungry. This is a great album. I rate King's Disease 2 an 8 out of 10 and grade it a B. In 4th place is going to be his 15th album, King's Disease 3, released in 2022. It's 17 tracks and 51 minutes, and take everything I said about King's Disease 2 and add more flavor and add more spice to it. Yeah, that's King's Disease 3. Hearing a rapper who was 48 at the time sound this hungry and make a record this incredible is amazing. I think Thun is legitimately one of the best Nas songs. Then Michael and Quincy, 30, I'm on Fire, Once a Man, Twice a Child, Get Light, First Time. So many bangers on this. This album is really, really great and one of my personal favorites. He sounded like old Nas on here and I love it. I rate King's Disease 3 an 8 out of 10 and graded a B+. In 3rd place is going to be his 5th album, Stillmatic, released in 2001. This album is 15 tracks and 1 hour, and almost all killer, no filler. Ether, the diss track against Jay-Z, is obviously one of the best diss tracks of all time and goes incredibly hard. Got Yourself a Gun is obviously heat and an amazing song. Smokin' is a great deep cut on this, as well as Destroy and Rebuild. One Mic is a top tier Nas song. Rewind, yeah, I could pretty much say almost the whole track list. I think there's a dip in quality in the end, but that doesn't mean the other 85% of this album is fire. This album was released right after Nostradamus, so it was amazing to see that old Nas was still there on this album, and he cooked here. I rate Stillmatic an 8 out of 10 and graded a B+. In 2nd place is going to be his 2nd album, It Was Written, released in 1996. It's 14 tracks and 58 minutes, and this is a phenomenal rap album. So many phenomenal songs to take out of this. The Message and If I Ruled the World are the most popular songs on here, and yeah, they're amazing and perfect songs. But genuinely, I think almost every track on here is just an outstanding perfect song. Street Dreams, I Gave You Power, Watch Them N-Words, Take It in the Blood, Nas Is Coming. I don't need to say it all like I do sometimes, but yeah, incredible album. Incredible, consistent, and it's amazing. I rate It Was Written a 9 out of 10 and grade it an A. And in 1st place for the best Nas album had to be his first album, Illmatic, released in 1994. It's 10 tracks and 39 minutes, and I mean, what else would I put at number 1, guys? We have to be real here. I've talked about this album quite a few times on this channel already, like my shorts on best rap debuts, and then in my video on flawless rap albums. But guys, this album is just a masterpiece. It's so short, not even 40 minutes, and yet some of the best hip-hop songs of all time are on here, like New York State of Mind, The World Is Yours, and It Ain't Hard to Tell. And there's not a single bad moment on here. Every song is on the same level in terms of quality. Life's a Bitch, Halftime, Memory Lane, One Love, One Time for Your Mind, Represent. Also all phenomenal songs. This is the definition of a no-skip album. It's one of the best debut rap albums of all time, and easily one of the best debuts in any genre. Illmatic is perfect. I rate Illmatic a 10 out of 10 and grade it an A+. That was Nas's albums ranked from worst to best. Here are all the rankings, and now it's time for a tier list. Nasty Nas in the area, about to cause mass hysteria. Alright, y'all. We got the tier list here. Illmatic, one of the best rap albums of all time, one of the best debut. We don't need to talk about it anymore. It's S tier, blue tier, 10 out of 10, perfect. It was written. If this was a test, Nas would have aced it. This is a phenomenal rap album. I Am C tier. There's some bloat, but it's a good album overall in my opinion. This one, not so much. Nostradamus goes in F. Stillmatic, we're going to go B+. The Lost Tapes, B. God's Son, we're going to go a little bit above there. Okay, there we go. Street's Disciple, it's a tough listen. But look, we shouldn't discourage Nas because he's amazing. He's incredible. Hip Hop is Dead, here we go. Untitled, Distant Relatives, Life's Good, Nasir. Whoops. The Lost Tapes. Oh, whoops, I got to put these. These are backwards. We got to make this perfect, guys. We got to make this perfect. King's Disease 1. King's Disease 2. Magic. King's Disease 3. Magic 3. No, that's Magic 2, my bad. This is Magic 3. And Light Years, his last album, and that's it. That's the Nas tier list. I think that looks nice. I think it looks pretty, and yeah, no mistakes. This is perfect. Alongside the tier list I made a playlist on Spotify showing every great Nas song in his discography. Jack Alter on Spotify if you want to check it out. And I think out of the 21 Nas albums, 7 of them are classics, and you should check them out if you haven't already. And the average Nas album ranking is 6.9 out of 10, making the average Nas album above average. And he ranks number 12 out of the 14 artists that I've ranked so far. And in terms of classic albums, Nas ranks number 1. But thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more content and discography rankings. And yeah, God bless and peace.